Stuff. Chances are you have more than you need. You need a place to put it. Small stuff? That's the worst. It's hard to keep organized, and you don't want to sacrifice a big space to put the little stuff, but storing the little stuff is actually more expensive because you have to buy more of the organizers. It's just a nightmare. Solutions to the small stuff problem include going to Dollar Tree to raid their dollar tub supply like I did for organizing all my cables, but if you have even smaller stuff, it gets a lot more expensive, especially if you want that stuff accessible. I've looked at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Uline for bins, trying to find the best deal. I also looked at taking little wooden square coasters from eBay and printing walls or gluing them together. I even got desperate enough to look at cardboard bins, and as usual, the cheapest option was DIY. Assuming you have a 3D printer. Wait, you don't have a 3D printer?
When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
3D printed or not, these mini buckets are absolute lifesavers. I had them back in my old apartment where you've actually seen them in a few videos, and they were incredibly useful. But now that I've got my workshop in my new house, it is an absolute game changer. Are you going to build a CNC router? Grab a few empty bins off the wall, and sorting parts is a cinch. Building a PC and don't want your cat rolling the screws under the couch? It used to be the only thing you could get in buckets was fried chicken, but these days you can 3D print your own buckets for holding things like screws, or bolts for a server rack, or even smaller screws. Heck, you can even put a multimeter in one of them buckets if you print it big enough. I got buckets for breadboards and LEDs. I got buckets for nails. I got buckets for washers. We got buckets for drill bits that aren't part of a set no more. We got buckets for command strips. We got buckets for 12-volt lamps. We got buckets for zip ties, jumpers, and all sorts of random knickknacks. Got buckets for googly eyes, more breadboards, resistors, lanyards, sensors for Arduinos, and more. Check out our website and download as many buckets as you want for the price of free $99. The rest of my workshop is going to be revealed with a bunch of download links to everything later. But durability wise, you can chuck in a pound or 450 grams, and the PLA ones will get a bit saggy in summer heat, which is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38°C, and that's in the garage temperatures. But the PET G ones do a lot better. Do not print these buckets with a 0.4mm nozzle. Spend a few cents more on a 0.8mm nozzle and then over extrude to get 1mm thick or wider walls. Then you can print it in Vase Mode. Do that and you'll be printing these buckets in just a half hour to 45 minutes a piece, and they'll take 1 pound, no problem. These 10 by 10 by 5 centimeter buckets can be made with as little as 10 meters of filament, which, depending on how cheap you can find filament, is less than 50 cents a bucket. Or, another upside is that anytime you have just a few inches left on a spool, which would normally be trash, you can print these wall mount brackets for another set of buckets. Because you can use the last little bit of filament off a spool, sometimes your material cost is zero. And while you could just download the STL file for this off Thingiverse or my 3dpc.xyz website, you can literally design this and have it sliced and in your printer in less than 2 minutes. What's that? You don't believe me? You need proof? Well, fine. All right, you ready? Box. Convert to editable mesh. Grab that edge. Move it like that. And if you want these boxes to stack, you can grab that bottom face and shrink it down just a little bit. Done. That's all the modeling. You can then export it as an STL. That must not have been the right format. Nope, totally wasn't. Save that sucker as an STL file. And open up your slicer. Bring it in, change your nozzle size, one millimeter all around, 3 bottom layers, don't need to worry about infill, 240, 60. I have funny shaped gears, or funny sized gears on my printer, and then spiralize outer contour, preview, boom. Now we have it in Vase Mode. Save it as a G-code. Load up your printer's web interface and upload that file. Done. So seriously, take all those partial rolls of filament you have and convert that would-be garbage into the most useful 3D print in your house. Check out this other playlist over here of other seriously cool DIY tech, and subscribe for other workshop transforming prints. Videos coming out soon. And I'll see you in the next one.